Supervisors of IPRMSA-IIUM Chapters, Dr. Zafri Azrin Ahmad and Tuan Haji Azlan Bapia, and lecturers from Communication Department IIUM. And our honorable guest speaker, Mr. Ivlynn from Citrine, Mr. Ahmad Izham Khairuddin from Consumer Forum Malaysia, and Mr. Lovrenciear from Business Ethics Institute of Malaysia. Fellow friends from IIUM and guests from other universities. On behalf of IPRMSA-IIUM Chapter, I would like to welcome everyone to Public Relations Lecture Series this semester.
My name is Izham. I'm from the Communications and Multimedia Consumer Forum of Malaysia. Before I start, has anybody here, honestly, has anybody here heard of CFM before? No, right? Good, then I'm in the right place. Okay? Because I'm here to actually, part of my job is actually to share what CFM is doing so that all of you can benefit from it. Alright? So I've been given the topic of artificial intelligence in PR. So, and how, where are we going with it? I think before I start with the actual topic, everybody here knows about AI? Yes? Then I don't need to actually elaborate on AI. When was the last time you used AI? Few minutes ago. Alright, good. For what? Smart?
Smartphones for email.
Smartphones, email. Okay, what else? Face unlock. Good. The last time I used it was Waze to get here. Alright? People tend to forget that. So you can actually see there's a lot of applications of artificial intelligence in our daily lives. So it is only a matter of time when it is actually spread through everything that we do in our daily lives, right? So are you all comfortable with AI? Are you not the least worried about AI? Are you not worried that AI might eventually take over your role, your functions, especially as a PR practitioner? Worried a bit, not so, because you still have I've got a good thing going for me. I know I can get a job, right? Anyway, all right. So when we talk about this is just a basic overview. When you talk about artificial intelligence, you think about acceleration, fast info, everything moves faster, and then accuracy. You get more accurate info. Not really more accurate, but it takes a lot of the guessing out of the information that you receive. Sometimes you receive a lot of information. Probably as PR practitioners, you'll get a lot of information from all various sources. So sometimes you have to verify, are these actually accurate? So AI actually helps you to filter some of it and takes up some, not all, some of the guesswork that you have to put when you are validating any information. And of course, AI is supposed to help automate some of the menial tasks, some of the tasks, the work that you actually do. It's supposed to help, but sometimes, but now there are instances where they actually take over. They are actually better than humans. So we'll have to see where that goes later, in 5 years' time, 10 years' time. All right. In PR, I'm not going to go through inside this very detailed, because this one is you will learn eventually how AI is being applied in PR. But mostly it's about, for us, the things that we are actually looking at is processing of information, and processing of information, where the information that we receive, as well as information that we send out. Right? These messages. There's a lot of data messages floating about that goes through us. Alright? I will elaborate it a bit more later, right? But before I go further, just a bit about CFM. CFM is actually, it stands for Communications and Multimedia Consumer Forum of Malaysia. We were formed in 2001 under the Communications and Multimedia Act of 1998. We are made up of members from both the supply and demand. So on one side, you have the communication, all the communication, not all, most of the communications licensees under MCMC, that includes your telcos, cellcos, internet service providers, and pay TV providers. And on the other hand, we have the demand side, which is the consumer associations. Anybody knows a very big, prominent consumer association? Come on. POMCA, yeah. Penang. There's quite a few consumer associations in Penang. Anyway, the big one still is consumer associations of Penang. So you see, those are consumer associations. We also have academia with us, and we also have other civil society parties who are interested in protecting, well, not to say protecting, but prioritizing consumer rights in communications and multimedia services. In a nutshell, if you have problems with your telcos, internet service providers, pay TV, and they don't answer, they don't help you resolve your problems, you can come to us. Alright? So, a big bulk of what we do is complaints handling. We handle consumer complaints. We also develop codes of practice for the industry based on the Communications and Multimedia Act. We do quite a bit of advocacy, and the most important thing is that we do a lot of consumer awareness and education. This is where a lot of our PR activities are focused on. Alright? So, how does CFM manage artificial intelligence? Well, in God we trust, all others must bring the data. We need all the data that we need. We need all data. We process data. We process data to help us spread our messages to the right audience. Okay, so with AI we hope to get things done better, faster, more accurate initiatives, which I will elaborate later, and automation of a lot of the manual labor that we actually do. Yeah, but I will, as you will see later, this is not usually the case. Some work, some don't. All right. So where do we get our data? We have our consumer complaints. We received more than 4,000 complaints last year. Right. Before that, it was even more. But somehow people are complaining less to us. Not to say complaining less to us, it means that probably the service providers are managing the complaints a lot better, so they don't get to us. We also get a lot of our data from social media, on the ground, also from our on the ground interactions and other engagements, meetings, and even my presence here. I'm actually getting some data as well. So what do we get? We get complaints data. We get grievances, especially I don't know why. After the last year's general elections, people tend to complain a whole lot more on social media, right? Do you notice that too? Yeah. So how do we handle that? Okay. There's a lot of people. Most of it, if you notice, are not actual complaints but grievances, which is good. We take it. We also get our data from reports and research, surveys and polls. All right. Okay. So what we do with all those data? There's a lot of work that we can. There's a lot of processing that needs to be done. Okay. All right. Somehow this is not right. Okay. Our challenges. Alright, okay. Our challenges. When we collect data and when we process the data, we get a lot more data. We know a lot more, we learn a lot more, but at the same time, we have a lot more questions. You remember people keep saying, the more you learn, the more you think you know, but the more that you think you have, the more things that you need to know. In the end, you think that, hey, I really don't know much actually. Alright? So that's where we get our data. We get a lot of complaints, we get a lot of all this data, we process, and then it leads to more questions for us. So how do we manage this? Are this information accurate? if I were to look at the Lovrenciear.net forum right now, with all the data, all right, what do we do with it? Is it accurate? Is it just somebody trying to be funny, just trying to gain likes, trying to gain followers? They'll put something very controversial, and what happens to that? Do we actually act on that or not? All right. So how dependable is it? We don't know who that guy is, right? Because most of the time, some of them are very anonymous. It's just an anonymous account, posting an anonymous message, but very strong message. So how do we act to that? And then another challenge that we have is that we use AI, but how does that translate into meaningful outcomes? Because at the end of the day, when you do AI right now, it has to involve some money, right? For example, you want to check the online sentiment of a group in a forum. For example, you use certain software, and to use that software, you have to invest some money. So because we function like we are an NGO, non-profit organization, so we have to really justify why we want to put $100,000, 200,000 ringgit for that purpose. So how do we justify? These are our challenges, okay? So I think there is one slide missing, which is actually what comes out of the data that we process. Can you guess what comes out of the data that we process? Anybody wants to guess? No? We get reports. Obvious, right? And what else do we get? More reports. And after that, what do we get? Even more reports. We don't know what to do. We have so many reports of this, that, this problem. We have a network coverage issue that's cropping up, and there's this spam SMS, there's spam messages that's building up. People are complaining. We have more of that. So at the end, what we get is we get trends. We know what trends are up and coming at that particular point in time. We can see, for example, there's a network network connectivity issue in Cheras. It started since 8 a.m. this morning. That is what we can get. So how do we tackle that? Then for CFM, it's easy. We'll just go to look. We have the data. We ask the service provider, is there anything wrong with your network in Cheras since 8 a.m. this morning? What are you doing? What we do is that once we have that information for them, we relay it back to the consumers. We say, all right, this particular service provider has a network issue in this area because of this, and the recovery time is about 4 hours. Expect your service to be back to normal by a certain hour. So this is how AI works. We process all the data. A lot of it is still, if you can see, there's a lot of manual work still involved as well. But eventually, with technology, when it becomes more available and cheaper, everything will be automated. In fact, there is such an initiative that is starting very, very soon, where you can, as consumers, you can actually access data to see whether any particular network is down in any particular area. It's just like, I don't know, have you all used Shabazz, the Shabazz app, water app? It actually tells you where there is a water disruption and what is the recovery time. So this MCMC and CFM will start something similar to help consumers. This is all based on AI. Everything put, and then you'll see in a map where it goes. Where is the areas that are affected. All right? Okay. So with all this, alright, hold on. Okay. With all this, what can we do with all the data? Okay, AI, we're still talking about AI. With all the AI that they help us, we can develop more strategic campaigns. So we know, through AI, we know the demographics. Who, where should we target? Who should we target? What type of socioeconomic level are the will be the target audience? What platforms are we going to target? Influencers? Are we going to target specific platforms? Are we going just target Twitter, or even, I don't know, do we actually use Snapchat to target this group of people? So this is what AI helps with. What would be our social media strategy? Do we actually, or messaging strategy? Do we actually publish full feature articles, or do we actually publish bite-sized information, infographics? All this is from AI. AI processes the data, so we get all these readings, we get all the reports. Remember, I said a lot of reports. So there is no AI yet, as far as I know, for us to digest all these reports to come up with whatever we need to do. So that is still, thank God, hopefully for you all, you still have jobs in the 5-10 years time. You still have jobs, because we still need people to actually process that part of the reports of the data. All right. So, and like I said, I mentioned just now in the outcomes, we need to measure the outcomes. All right. So how do we justify investments? So to do that, we need to produce reports again, but this report is more for our board, for people who are actually helping us to pay for whatever we're doing. So this is where AI also plays a role. We use, has anybody heard of Tableau here? Tableau, no? Is data visualization software. Anybody has heard of that? Google it up, might be useful in your line of work. Okay, so we use that for reports. Basically, it's just fancy schmancy graphs, pictures and all that is taken from data. There is this software that actually processes all this information and helps you come up with nice, very nice, futuristic looking graphs that can help sell your idea. Right? I'm not even, it might challenge as well in CFM is because some in my board of councillors are a bit old school. I will tell you one specific challenge that I have. All right? We get a lot of media coverage for us, for an organization as such as us, which is very small. We're hardly 20 people in the NGO, the secretariat staff. So we get over 400 news coverage up till now, this year. So the challenge is, we keep telling our board of councillors, we have good coverage, and they will say, how good is that coverage? So when we come up with the PR value of the coverage, especially in the newspapers, they say, what's this PR value? How accurate is this? How can you be sure that you can trust this value? You see, that is one of the main challenges, because there are still some people who don't understand how PR works. So probably when you start working, you will also face this problem. I hope not, but if you do, then you have to find ways, and that is where AI can help you. Research in Tableau. Infographics, there are actually some software that actually help you create infographics. Just put in the data, you will come up with something nice. It's not magic, but it's not like you just put it and then you leave it. No, you have to actually tweak it as well. All right. So look it up, because even for me, I'm also looking for people who can actually help me do that. Come up with nice graphics, nice presentations. In fact, this one. There's no AI in my presentation for this time, but if you actually attend some of my other talks, there might be some nice graphics, nice visualizations and all that. Might be useful. Visualizations is, at the end of the day, is the first part. Next, they want to look at live data, dashboards. Those are the things as well. They want to know, okay, we've posted, for example, CFM posted an article on Facebook, on social media, on Instagram, posted something. I want to know what's the reach right now, how many people have read it, how many have people clicked on the link that is included inside the message. So those are the things that people, some of the bosses wants to know. I want to know it now, right now. Is it successful? Are there any negative messages? What's the sentiment like? Right? So, way forward for CM with AI. Like if you have been following what I've been saying, most of it is measuring outcomes. We can do a whole lot of things, a whole lot of activities, but at the end of the day, the bosses, the board of councillors, the people who are paying, the people paying money, we want to know what's the outcome. What do I get when I spend a lot or this much money? Is it meaningful? Is it touching the right audience? Is the messaging right? Is the platform right? You see? So there's a lot of things being considered. So remember earlier I said that AI helps you to reduce the guesswork. Right? So that is one of the big components of AI in PR. It helps me to eliminate a lot of the guesswork. So I know that, alright, I can see from the complaints data, there's a drop call issue in Subang, for example. Why? Because there's a lot of complaints. So I can actually address that problem by sending information directly to people in Subang. So that's how AI works. I can identify trends. You see, AI helps me to identify trends. And I want to do it better. So I will have to, personally, I will also have to look at what are other AI tools that I can use to help me identify trends better. Alright? Customizing content. Now should I look at being multilingual in all other languages as well? Because so far we have only been focusing on English and PM. But there are audiences that can digest the messages easier in their own languages. So we are planning to do that. Hopefully we have AI to help to translate whatever we do automatically. Google does that already, right? How many of you have used the Google Translate? Most of you have. How many of you has traveled and used Google Translate? Have you actually seen a sign in a foreign language and actually took a picture and let Google translate it for you? You have, right? Some of you haven't. So you can see the power of AI. AI can actually capture an image and translate that into your language. How powerful is that? So imagine what they can do for PR. If, for example, in your future jobs, you are following your boss to, to Russia, for example, and you need to translate a press release immediately into Russian. So who are we going to call? Google, right? Okay. And another thing is that managing perceptions. This is very, very difficult, like I mentioned just now. I don't know, I'm on Twitter a lot. I get most of my information, well, not say most of the information, but I find out new things from Twitter. So perceptions play a big role on Twitter, and I suppose on other social media platforms as well. I'm not sure. You guys, Facebook is right. You don't really use Facebook anymore, right? Or am I wrong? No, you're all Instagram, Snapchat, and all that, right? And others that I shall not mention, of course. Oh yeah, by the way, I used to work for Cybersecurity Malaysia, so I know all of this. A lot more than okay. All right. So, what our hopes? We want to do. We want to use AI to get things done faster, better. Automation of menial tasks. Sometimes we still do it manually. Why? Because that's how we know. And another challenge as well is especially the people. We need to train the people to use AI. So I hope when you actually graduate, you get out into the working world, you already know how to use AI. That is a very good skill to have. You already know what applications are out there. You already know how to use it, basically. That is really a plus point in your CV, if you ask me. In fact, that's what I would look for when I get any applications. I want to know how comfortable you are to actually use whatever tools that are available, what technology are out there. Technology is already out there. That is what I want to know, whether you are, it's not just, I don't actually look at your results per se. I actually look at whether you are adaptable, you have the capacity, capability, you have the right aptitude, yes, not necessarily intelligence, but aptitude, and especially whether you have, oh, sorry, that's my timer for 25 minutes. Okay, you have the right aptitude, but most importantly, you have the right attitude. That is very difficult. And I find that sometimes when I recruit people, it's a hit and miss. Sometimes I get it right, sometimes I get it wrong. But that's something I learned over the years. All right? Okay, so I have just 2 minutes, I suppose. Future of AI. So, can I actually replace 3 of my staff with AI? Right now, if you ask me right now, I would say no. Why? Because I still need people to process some of the data. I still need people to actually, the human touch is still missing. AI it has advanced very far, but it is still not there yet, not for me anyway. So, I still think that all of you, like I said, you are born in an age where technology is available to you. When I was studying, there was no Google, there was no Facebook, there was no smartphones, it was just a normal public phone. Where libraries had actual books, thick books, alright? So I had to actually scroll all those. And I had to actually study 18th century French literature. Imagine how hard that is back then. Now it's a lot simpler. But back then they have Cliff Notes. I'm not sure whether you know Cliff Notes or not. Yeah, we had Cliff Notes. That helped a bit. But now you have Google. The best teacher, well, not the best teacher, not necessarily, but it's a good place to get information. Alright? Okay, before I end, a shameless plug for CFM. I hope you actually try to follow we have Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Try to follow us. I encourage you to follow us because one of my staff back at the office will be very angry if I didn't promote this. And if she doesn't see an increase in the number of followers, at least 5 or 10, come on guys, help me out here. I don't want to get an earful when I get back. Alright, so you can see our YouTube, Instagram, Twitter is at the handle is at CFM_Malaysia, and Facebook is consumer.forum.malaysia. And there's a lot of tips on consumerinfo.my. For example, I give you a tip. I used to spend at least 150 ringgit a month on my mobile phone bill. Now, hardly 50 ringgit a month. And I still enjoy the same amount of YouTube videos, Instagram a lot, Twitter, there's a lot of videos as well. I still do my normal social media stuff on my phone. But I chose the right package. Just an indication. Who pays more than 100 here a month for phone bills? Come on, don't be shy. Nothing wrong with it. Alright, there's a few. More than 80? More than 50 lah. More than 50, right? See, I pay less than 50. So, tips, consumerinfo.my. Alright? Okay? Alright? And with that, thank you very much.
Was my lecturer when I was studying in UKL. So I'm very privileged to be standing in front of her. He has taught me a lot of things in communication, and that's where I am here today. Thank you so much, Tuan. Okay, so let's begin. I know everybody's mind now is, will AI replace my job? Yes and no. Okay, well, today I'm going to show to you some real case studies, especially on crisis management, as well as other things as to how AI is taking part, or the role of AI in actual work today that we do for all our clients. Okay, let's hit it. Okay. So, this is 1 minute in today's time. This is all the things that can happen in 1 minute. True? Yes. So now, I'm going to play a video. This is an example of what may happen in an aeroplane. Here's a crisis. Look at how fast the figures go. Everybody started talking. Just imagine, visualize that you are in the flight itself. Everybody has a mobile phone, correct? Even some aeroplanes today, they do allow you Wi-Fi access. I just sat on Emirates on my trip back from Europe. They do allow Wi-Fi. You are one of those connected travelers, I'm sure. Correct? And you will be writing if there's anything happen, correct? So, from the video, you know, you are part of that. Correct? Every one of you are a traveler. Anything happen, you just snap something like, macam ni dah berlaku ni dah. I takut. You start standing and it goes viral. Your family members got news about it and then it stand out. Right? So, what is artificial intelligence in PR? Alright. Simulation of human intelligence processes by machines, especially computer systems. But what is public relations? Alright? Essentially, it is a practice of deliberately managing the spread of information between an individual or an organization. Right? Now, I want you to understand this. While you are afraid that AI is going to take your place, always remember the basic of PR, which is that. That is something which no AI can replace. Your knowledge today on basic knowledge of PR cannot be replaced by AI. AI is to assist you in your job. It is not to replace you. Alright? Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here today. Correct? Okay. Now, so what you need to do is to combine both, alright, and process it and analyze big data with minimum human involvement along with high accuracy. Yes, previously I may need about 10 staff or 20. I once had about 20 staff working for me. But today all I need is only probably 5 to 6 because of AI. I need less people because I am using AI. But it doesn't mean your role goes away. Because with AI also, there are a lot more agencies that's currently coming up. All right? And these are the agencies that you can go to with your PR knowledge. And I'm going to show you all the partners that we use, which you can also go into. All right? So again, importance. All right? Some of it has been explained by Izham tadi. Okay? More accurate and so on. So I'm not going to go into it. So how artificial intelligence help PR pros? Now, first and foremost, when you come out, usually those days are when I came out, right? You need, first thing in the morning, 7 o'clock, and I have a newspaper, ambil surat khabar. All right, and they got to flip through it. My client article or my company's article, keluar tak? You know, did it come out? Did it appear? And then we have to cut the newspaper, all right, and we have to paste it, and we have to write a summary on the computer, and then paste it, and so on. Nowadays, we don't have to because we can be outsourced. Now, this is a company that we, in reality, we partner with, and they came out immediately when we have a media conference for our client. We tell them, please take note, we just had a media conference, and the next day they will come out with all this. Whether it is online or print or social media and so on, and the calculation is all there. Gone are the days where you need to ukur the paper, you know. I'm sure all our learned sirs here have gone through that before, where we had to look at the paper and cut, you know, we have to measure and then times with the advertising dollar. So you don't need to do that anymore. That's the good thing about your generation today. You don't have to do that. All the cutting and pasting has gone. All right, so that's one, how AI is being used in PR. So when you come out, this is what you can expect from the agencies or from your companies that you are joining in-house. All right, but sad to say, there are some organizations still do not believe in outsourcing media monitoring. So you have to convince them, because this can be done the next day. We can find out everything the next day. Data can be done the following day, or even the day itself, in time when it comes to crisis. All right. So you have to learn to convince your bosses, if they still do not have, why you need it. Because it takes a long time. You want to scroll through paper by paper. It takes a day. It takes many people to scroll through all the newspaper. And can you imagine there are online media out there? How can you check everything, right? Okay. Okay. So next, AI in crisis management. So what we do in crisis, Citrine 1, we will monitor the incident through various platforms. We take action according to the sentiment, all right, while we're monitoring it, and then we solve the crisis according to data that we studied. So what I'm going to share with you, a case study. This is a real case that I was in. It was a real project, you know, the railway, all right, in Malaysia. There was an accident on site, okay, and this is what happened. A board pile case was lifted from a trailer at the rail project site. It slipped and fell back onto the trailer. Although there was no damage to public property, the incident garnered awareness in the social media. Bearing in mind, real project is open. Betul tak? You tengok kan? I'm sure around here, or you pergi Putrajaya anyway, it's open. It's very naked. The project is very naked. Alright? Anybody pass by, something is falling, immediately you pick up your phone. Betul tak? And then you snap, and then you hantar, you send it, viral it. Correct? So this is what actually happened. Alright? And then incident was contained within the hour, but video and pics of incident went viral for more than 8 hours. The incident immediately stopped because it stopped work order immediately. Alright? But the virality of it went on for the next 8 hours. That's the danger part. It's not the accident part, because there was no casualty. The worst thing is when it went viral for the next 8 to 12 hours. Alright? So, but video of pics of incident went viral, and then the parent company viewed this very seriously and took quick action. That was a key message that we want to send out. Alright? Now, I will share with you the detailed account. 3 p.m. incident occurred. But comms people were informed about it only at 10 p.m., 7 hours later. Why? Because in any real project construction, you have subcontractors. Subcontractor, when the incident happens, they have to inform to the main contractor. Main contractor got to inform to the government, the stakeholder. By the time all this go, it goes back again, verify information. I can tell you in real life situation, in crisis situation, what happens most of the time? Panic. Correct? When people panic, they data entry wrong information. Alright? When the incident happened, luckily it was near my place, I live nearby. And then when we received the information, this place, they spell the name correct, the name of the location. And I look at it because I'm familiar with that area. Are you sure this is the place? Cannot be. I've been through that real way. You know, during the work, we went through the construction site, we had to take a look. And please, PR practitioners, if you are a PR practitioner, in the future, always go hands-on. Always do a recce. Always remember to do recce. You must familiarize yourself with the entire project. You cannot familiarize yourself from the computer and just look at the maps and so on where it is. Go to the ground. So we went to the ground and said, hey, something is amiss here. Location macam, it doesn't look like that location. So we asked the contractor again, please verify. So verification takes a long time, and that's the reason why comms people were informed 7 hours later only. Okay, so next. Alright, so once we received the notification, immediately, now this company has all the manual in place already, crisis communications manual in place. So immediately we came up with a holding statement, prepare, we focus on the facts, and so on and so forth, and start drafting the statement. Alright, so once we drafted, alright, we shared the draft media statement with the project owner, which is the government. Government owns the project. We work for the company, we advise the company who is actually the main contractor for that project. So we have to go through processes, approval processes internally before we can submit it to the government, which is the stakeholder. Right, now, it all happens, 10 p.m., 11:50 p.m. we send. Alright, the next morning, government agrees to stop work order and for the entire stretch, not just at that place where the incident happened, the entire stretch of that. You know, in a project, real project, they have section 1, section 2, section 3. So the entire section where the incident happened, all stop, no more work, no more construction work, alright? It's freeze, alright? And video, 10:30 a.m. Sorry, the video incident was circulated amongst community, FB pages, and WhatsApp. Council monitored and noticed video had gone viral. Immediately informed project owner to issue and distribute finalized media statement. 12:30 p.m. media statement. The first media statement issued to selected pre-media. The reason is because only a few media inform that what is happening. So we focus on informing those media first and send out the statement. However, by 1:30 p.m., alright, 3 FB pages carried the media statement. 3:30 p.m., Council received WhatsApp sharing the video from Johor. The incident happened in Selangor, but the video has gone to Johor. And the Johor people has come back to us and said that what is happening in Selangor. Alright, so when that happened, we have to make a firm decision as to whether do we issue the following statement. Alright, and so by 4:40 p.m. we decided, and the stakeholder from the government said, Ivlynn, are you sure? Are you really sure? Because there's no fallback after this. Alright, everybody would know that we have an incident at that place. Alright, everybody. That means because initially we just focused on a few media who knows about it, but once we shared the statement all over, everybody will know that there's an incident. I said yes, because it has gone to Johor. If it has gone to Johor means everybody will know, nationwide already know. So it's better that you issue the statement to everybody now than to keep it. Alright, so what we did is we also shared the media statement to all the media nationwide. Alright, and then by 7:30 p.m., monitoring was activated on social media platforms. And then every hour, we asked the outsourced provider to keep us in the loop every hour, and we keep all the stakeholders in the loop every hour as to what's happening. And by 9 p.m., engagement started to lose traction. 10 p.m., it should die down, fully contained. So I just want to share with you. All right, so just want to highlight that it's actually very late that the comms team found out about it. After the incident happened, we did a post-mortem, all right, and we review the entire manual process all over again, all right, to make it faster. So apparently, the comms team is in Group B, and we are not in Group A. Group A are all the stakeholders, the directors level and so on, who will be notified first. So they will be notified first, but comms team will be notified later. So for us to start drafting was later, and we cannot respond that fast. So after the post-mortem, when we found out that this happened, we convinced the directors that the comms team ought to be in Group A, not in Group B. Comms team must always be informed first, because we need to start drafting the information. All right. So this is the chart. If you look at it, the red is where all the negativity when the incident happened. All right. And then at 12:30, the green is where is the online media as well as FB community pages ran our press statement. All right. And 12:30 p.m. the first one, it went up. And then after that, 4:40 p.m., we sent out another statement, and then it dies down. So this is how AI works in crisis. It helps you to make firm decisions. So when your bosses ask you in the future, how do I know whether I should, at what time, in what moment in time, and to what kind of reach do I make a decision as to what to send and what not to send, and to who, at what time. AI helps you make faster decision making. All right, by 10 p.m., it dies down. We monitor again until 12 a.m. After 2 hours, there's no more whispers, people no more sharing, no more complaint. Means that everybody has accepted that the incident has been contained. It has actually been contained long time ago, earlier on, but it went viral, right? So we have to contain the virality. So that's what happened. All right. So this is how AI helps. When you go out, AI will help you make faster decision making. All right. So 10 p.m. dies down, and then all of us finally, with a sigh of relief, all the comms team, we went home and sleep. Finally, we slept for about 12 hours. Later on, we didn't go to work the next day. We requested our bosses, boss, is it okay? Say yeah, just take a good rest and so on. Right? So that's the fun part. When you have a crisis, you solve it, you have to stay awake, all right? 24 hours, you have to stay awake, coffee here, coffee there. But at the end of the day, there's a fulfillment, there's a measurement, there's an outcome, all right? There is like, boom, we did it, that kind of thing. And you feel, the feeling is just undescribable. You have to be there to feel it, all right? And when your bosses come and say, good job, that's the value. That's the value that you want as a PR practitioner. Okay? Now, AI can also be used in influencer marketing. How many of you are today influencers? Any one of you are influencers? Shy. Hey, influencers today can earn up to 10,000 ringgit, okay?
Yeah.
Sure or not?
Yeah.
Yes, right? So, any one of you are influencers here? So I got a text today before I came here. One of my former clients asked, hey, do you not have any influencer nak review dia punya service residence? Anybody? You can come to me later if you are an influencer. I think they are shy here because they don't want to tell the lecturers. Okay, so we use this. Anybody know Rihanna? Yeah. Semua perempuan tahu. All the ladies will know. The guys, do you know who is Rihanna? Yes, okay. So we handle her makeup product, Fenty Beauty. Alright, and we get an influencer. Alright, I'm sure this celebrity, you're familiar kan? Alright, so we got them to review the product. Alright, and you look at the number, 21,999 likes. Okay, and that is how we measure whether it is a successful campaign by using this influencer. Even though now you are paid 10,000, they would expect 1 million likes. No joke, huh? Don't think just because you are 10,000, you senang-senang, but you got to KPI. Your KPI will probably be 500,000 and so on. Now, all these celebrities is because we didn't need to pay them. Why? The name Rihanna is bigger than them. They come to us free of charge. And that's what PR is supposed to be. You're not supposed to pay. You're not supposed to pay. Alright? If you need to pay an influencer, that's under marketing. That's under advertisement. Alright? PR usually, when the client asks us from a PR point of view, we never pay influencers. If they want to come, they can come. We don't pay. But however, if for specific reason they want to do like advertisement and so on and so forth, then if the client are willing to pay, then we will check with them. So basic of PR, you must uphold. Yeah? Integrity of PR, you must also uphold. Alright, the next one is media outreach. Now this is another partner of ours, Berkshire Media. Now, just now when I was listening to Izham, he was saying that they can even pinpoint where is the place, where there's network capability and so on. So this one chart was taken. Do you remember Pasir Gudang? Yes. This was done during Pasir Gudang. Alright, and this is how AI works. Alright, it tells us the crowds allow us to read sentiments, even dialects. They can trace dialects. In Malaysia we have dialects. They can 20 to 50 languages and dialects in Southeast Asia, this company. So they have multinational clients. Now, this is a local company. Berkshire Media is only the name, but it's owned by a gentleman, local Malaysian. The entire team Malaysian. So don't underestimate yourself as a local graduate. I'm very proud to be a local graduate. Okay? Right? I'm product of UKM. So, I'm very proud to be local graduate. Okay? So, Pasir Gudang, yeah, we study the sentiments, when is it that time when they are angry, when is it they are sad, grievances, like what Izham has said. So, these are the charts. Even dialect, some Chinese will probably know their own dialect. Maybe Johor have their own dialect. They can even trace in terms of dialect. So, this is how AI works in the real world today. Okay? And from there, we did a press release and issued up that the government is not doing enough. Because based on this, we issued up to the media and say that government should do more based on these sentiments. Alright? Okay. Now, so how AI works in crisis, you have to step up your game. Alright? And it helps in analyzing and monitoring and big data. So what do you need to do? Alright, there are a lot of paid media. You need to be multi-skilled and multi-talented, like it or not. Because you need to know video production. Those days I was specialized only in journalism, outside those. But I did advertising, broadcast media and so on. So I have a little bit of knowledge of everything, but my major is journalism, which is in writing. Alright, so when you come up to the workforce, you need to understand a little bit of broadcasting, you need to understand a little bit of online media, you need to understand a bit of radio, you need to understand a little bit of everything in order to be a good PR pro when you come out in today's time. Are you into your final year of study now, or are you still have a few more years? Final! Oh! I'm looking for people, so you can go to let my colleague there know. I'm preparing a team for next year because we just signed on a contract for issue management, a retainer contract. So I need people. Alright, but you need to know data. You need to know, as what Izham said, please, if you have a course here in university, I'm not sure whether there's a course here, on data analytics, please take it as an elective course. Please. If you still have time, take an elective course on data analytics. Because you need to know how to derive and read all those data to come to make a decision making. Okay? Alright. So you need to be multi-talented, you need to get yourself educated, and then you need to generate optimized content. Alright, which angle, because you need to do on social media, how do you contain the messages, send out the messages, All right, prepare the draft statement, what to say, what not to say. You have to focus on facts. All right, and then you have to do damage control. That is only if it's in crisis. But if it's just normal product launch or normal just promotional activity or just publicity scene like the Fenty Beauty, you don't need to do damage control. But sometimes there have been cases as well when the reviewer suddenly, something happened to the face. That is when you go into a crisis mode. Okay, I only have 1 more minute to go. And alright, so at the end of the day, PR is about narrating your reputation, alright, to a vast audience to build credibility. Managing reputation is now more crucial than ever as words, video, sounds travels very fast, in lightning speed. Okay, alright, and what are the values? New HPR, a brand can create value across multi-channel resources now. You don't only focus on social media, we still need to focus on traditional media, we still need to focus on broadcast media, we still need to focus on online. So the platforms today are many, many more. Alright? And it's not just within Malaysia. Alright? Recently, we are the one who assisted, I'm not sure anyone of you saw the articles, Tun Siti Hasna. She was doing the fundraising at St. Mary's School. St. Mary's is my school as well. So we went in to assist the school to send out the press release, and it was picked up by international media as well. Alright, so that's the beauty of digital. You can track it online now in other countries, even though you do not have an agency in other countries. But Citrine does have. Citrine have affiliate agencies throughout the region. Alright, okay, so that's it. Just right on time, I hope. 1 minute. Alright, so do we wait for the Q&A later?
Yes, we're going to have the
Okay, so with this presentation, I hope you can see, you can visualize what you can expect when you come up and join us in the workforce. Okay? But bear in mind, not all organizations, as what Izham said, has the financial muscle to pay for all these companies. Alright? So we as an agency, we convince our clients that they must use them. And so we charge a price for it. And they are willing to pay. Alright? So it's a matter of convincing them.
Tired, huh? Okay, I think you are very fortunate. The British, they have a guru for PR who was the late Professor Sam Black. For us Malaysians, especially for me, my teacher, my guru was Professor Dr. Syed Arabi Ali. And so you're all very fortunate. He's an icon in the country as far as public relations is concerned. I'm sure Tuan Haji will agree with me, my fellow colleague. Yeah. So, I'm not going to talk to you about, do I do this? Or what? So I'm told to speak about AI, where are we heading? When I saw AI, I thought it was Anwar Ibrahim. So I didn't want to come. My answer to that question is disaster. Yo. So I bring you a lot of bad news. I'm not going to talk to you about AI. I think my fellow colleagues here, the two earlier speakers, they took time to explain that. I'm going to talk to you about something else. Okay? Disaster if you don't do certain things. And that's what I'm going to talk about. Okay? Now, we all know that public relations is all about communicating. Unfortunately, a lot of emphasis is on the communication. And so we focus a lot on the device, and we fail to take notice or take inventory of the verb, communicating. Yeah? Because communicating is not monkey business. is serious business. Okay? Because it is human communication. So what am I talking about? There are two things here. Do I focus on AI or do I focus on PR? So for budding PR professionals, I think you must go back to the fundamentals. And the fundamental is public relations. You must look at it as a profession, okay, that demands certain fundamentals. And you have to challenge yourself to make sure you have these fundamentals developed very well. Most of the time, we are looking outside for answers, you know. So in this new environment of technology, you know, I mean, people are already talking about Industry 5.0. Have you heard about Industry 4.0? Yes. Yeah. Now we are talking about 5.0, you know. I'm 65 years old. I may look younger. But we all in the PR industry, we look younger than our age. In those days, in the 1980s, our handphone was as big as a red brick. You know? Yeah. And some even had a phone that was as big as a briefcase. They call it the Arthur. And whoever carries the Arthur, everybody will stand up at attention because only one flag can hold that, you know? Yeah. And then came the Ericsson, you know, which has an antenna as big as my thumb. So all the gentlemen will carry it because they are executives. But they had one problem, the wives were not happy. The reason was, the antenna is so big, it always punctures a hole in the pocket. So the wife has to sew this all the time. But today with your smartphones, you know, you can literally do everything, right? I stopped using computer, you know. Yeah. All my writing is done on my phone. Okay? I write a lot. I write in the media, you know. You can actually Google me. I write a lot on social and political issues almost every day. And all that I do on my phone. I never do it on my computer. Okay? So I'm going to share with you some techniques. So we look for solutions outside us. We look at technology as the answer to our communicating behavior, you know. But we must stop. We must stop and take a look at ourselves, inside us, you know. Do you have the capacity? Have you built the capacity in order to harness and manage AI? This is where you have to focus a lot, you know. Are you with me? Yeah, what are those things? There are 4 things here. Number 1 is the ability to think. In the public relations profession, not only must you have the ability to think, but you must have the speed to think. This is very important. Because you are dealing with human beings and you are not managing communication. You are engineering perceptions. You're an engineer. You can mold, shape and reshape the way people think and behave. That's a very powerful vocation. So, in order to be able to manage people's perception from negative to positive, right? I mean, the second speaker, Ivlynn, she told you about that incident that happened and how things spread so fast and took some time before you can shift back, right? So somebody had to manage the perceptions out there, which is spreading in a massive manner because of AI, right? Now you can only do that if you have the ability and the speed to think. AI on its own cannot do anything for you, you know? I mean, it's like keeping the water there and I'm standing here, nothing happens. I have to go there and take the water and drink. Alright? Are you with me? Yes. Oh, feeling sleepy, yeah? Not yet tea time, what? Yeah. So thinking ability is very, very important. You must take initiative to read more about what is thinking all about. You know? So from thinking you have the actions, which is reflection, introspection, It's very important. You have to take time to sit back, alright, and look at things, review things in your mind. And then you can start developing this speed, this ability to think. Right? So people sometimes ask me, where do you get these ideas from? Because of the speed of thinking. You follow? Then you have this speed, then you can use AI very effectively. Second is a dirty word. It's called reading. People don't read these days. Mana ada masa, sorry, some international students. Where got time to read? No, I'm reading one on my phone. That's browsing, brother. Not reading. Reading means you go out there, you buy a book, you sit down on that chair and you read. That's reading. Now, I will challenge you now. How many of you read a book before you sleep every night? You fail. Tuan Haji, minus 50%. Reading is very important. The government of Malaysia is a fantastic government. They gave, incentives for you to buy books, so you don't have to pay tax. You get tax deductions. I mean, you buy everything else. You buy the latest phone, but you never buy books. And I ask you, where got money? I've met many people, at Mid Valley. I told people, I'll see you in Mid Valley at the bookshop. Mid Valley got bookshop, ah? They know Mid Valley got Starbucks, but they don't know got bookshop, Now, men and women, listen very carefully. If you are really serious about being a successful public relations professional, you have to start today in inculcating this habit of reading every day. Because reading does a magic. One, it develops your creativity. Two, it speeds up high speed thinking abilities. And from there, you develop confidence. We are not mathematicians, we are not medical doctors, but we are engineers of perception. We manage human behavior. We manage how to make people think and agree to what we are saying. To do that, you must read. So if you are not reading, I think you better change. Don't be PR lah. Take up security management. Number 3, I am very concerned about number 3 because I find increasingly people in this part of the world don't speak anymore. They make baboon noises. Come. Ala, don't want more. I used to go into the jungles, previously for about 9 years because I enjoyed 4x4 off-road adventures. So I used to go and camp and stay in the jungles. And I enjoyed listening to the noise of the jungle. And at different time, there is a different animal will take over. All animals don't fight to hear each other, They all got timetable. Very strict timetable. 4 o'clock in the morning, you will hear, the baboon is making noise, it's waking up. Yeah. So that's how we are speaking. We don't speak in complete sentences anymore. Now, when you cannot speak in complete sentences, then you cannot articulate your thoughts across to your audience. That's very important. I mean, if you can't speak in ordinary situations with your friends, colleagues, in good sentences, how are you going to speak in difficult moments? How are you going to face an audience and address them in a challenging situation? Are you with me? Yes. Yeah. Speak well. But then the problem, you know why people cannot speak in complete sentences? It's because they don't read. Reading and speaking is interconnected. You cannot divorce them. The more you read, the better you will speak. Now the culture is like this. If you speak well, people say, wow, so formal. Something is not right, bro. Yeah. I remember Prof at the site used to read books every day. He will carry books with him for meetings. And he impressed upon me. I was his student, you know. Very strict man. Okay? And the last is, ladies and gentlemen, believe me, if you cannot write, you are not fit to be in public relations. Because public relations is 75% of the time writing. 25% of the time is translating the writing into action. So if you cannot write, you can't be in this profession. Because how do you communicate your ideas, your thoughts, your solutions, okay, across to your audience? If you won't be speaking all the time, you need to write. And today with AI, the demand and the pressure to write accurately is even more. You can't make a mistake. I mean, you can't write 50 pages of essay in Telegram. Correct? You got to be short, sweet, and quick. Now, how do I get that across? It all begins with the skill to write. I don't write on paper anymore. Honestly, I don't write on paper anymore. I don't need a pen to write. I write in my head. So every day I write articles. When I reach home, I just open my phone, or when I sit in the coffee shop, I open my phone and I send it out. So some of my friends come and ask me, how come you got so much of time to write every day? But they don't know I write in my head. I don't need pen and paper to write an article. You follow? Because I read, I take the trouble to speak well, and I think every morning. I wake up every morning, 1 hour is my private time. If I've got to go out of the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, then I'll make sure I wake up 2 hours before. If I have to catch a flight at 4 o'clock in the morning, I'll wake up 2 hours before. 1 hour is for thinking. Yeah, I just sit down. Of course, I smoke my pipe. You don't have to smoke a pipe. And I think, you know. And this is a routine, this is a habit. So this helps me to use my brain, which is, you know, which can do many, many more things. You know, I mean, my brain is not even a dot of Albert Einstein, but it still can write. You know, so I write, use my head to write. Yeah. So this is what I want to impress you. Artificial intelligence will be useless for you. Okay, because it is going to move even faster and faster. Artificial intelligence is only useful if you have these 4 fundamentals very well developed. Then you will harness the power of AI. Are you all with me? You believe me? Yeah. If you don't believe me, you Google my name now. Yeah. Sorry, went too far. Now, have you heard of this name, Peter Singh? 10 minutes more, thank you, sir. I will go faster. Have you heard this name, Peter Singh? How many of you have heard this name? Oh, I forgot you don't read, sorry. I forget very easily, at 65 I've been absent-minded. Yeah. Now, these are all thinkers who have given the world tremendous gifts. Right? Big companies like Google, IBM, all of them, take them very seriously and translate what they have given into deliverables. And that's why they are very successful organizations. Thinkers. Okay? What did he say? He wrote the 5th discipline. And he mentioned what are the 5 things that is important to qualify as a learning organization. The first, not even number 2, the first he said is personal mastery. What is personal mastery? It means personal. Can somebody read? Because I can't see. Yes, please? Read for me what is on the screen. Now you can't even read. Very frightening, man. Can somebody read what's there, please?
Personal mastery is a phrase we use for the discipline of personal growth and learning.
Exactly. The key word there is discipline. If you don't have the discipline to read, write, think and speak, forget it. Simple as that. Let me explain that a bit more. Can someone read this? Very few people know how to read. Yes, sir.
People with high levels of personal mastery are continually expanding their ability to create results in ways that truly
If you truly seek to be a great PR person, you will produce that result because you exercise personal mastery. Very important. Okay? Personal means you yourself. Take the trouble to master. Okay? What happened? Oh, did I press the wrong button? It's coming. So what do you need to do? You need to do the following. Number 1 is continually clarifying what is important to you. The key word here is continually, not once a day or once a week. Number 2, learning how to use current reality more clearly. So all those things that's around you is reality. How do you use it? Okay? Learning. Commitment to truth. It means a relentless willingness to root out the ways we limit or deceive ourselves from seeing what is and to continually challenge our theories of why things are the way they are. Think. It means you must be always willing, ready and wanting to think. You attend a class, a lecture, you go back, you think. Not go back, throw the book and say, I now begin enjoy skit. No? Sorry, not throw the book and say, I want to go and enjoy first. Stress today, Karaji was teaching so much today, I'm tired already, No, think. And I think we have to be very serious about it because the world out there, they're all learning very fast. The power of thought. The power of thought. Now, personal mastery and systems thinking. Peter Sin's talked about systems thinking, right? Integrating reason and intuition. Now, in public relations, all the facts will be there, all the data will be there, but it still needs that 1% which will determine pass or fail, success or failure. That 1% is you, that intuitive ability that you must have. And that intuitive ability is a human trait. It can only come and dwell in you if you have the power to think. Are you with me? Continually seeing more of our connectedness to the world, compassion and commitment to the whole. So what he's saying is be more human, okay, in a robotic world. Be more human in a robotic world. As AI grows and implodes, the demand for the ability to show your human trait will be very high. So if you have the skills to speak, write, right, and you read, and you can think you will be in demand. People want to hire you. You follow? Do I make sense? Yes. Of course you won't say no. I'm talking about passion. In public relations, you must have passion. You know, if you don't have passion, forget it. Okay? In 1990, you know, there was already this thinker, Mark Foster. He already said something. Many of us didn't know when he said that. But today we are beginning to realize it is very true. In 1990 he said that we are all being changed from being arboreal beings into rhizomic beings. Which means one person sitting here can go as far as South Africa and come back without moving his butt. Can you do it? You're doing it all the time. Yes. And it's not happening now. In 1990, he already said it's going to happen. You follow? Yeah. Now, another thinker, Rolf Jensen, you should get this book and read it. Very interesting book. You know, very challenging. It gives you tremendous, it really opens up your mind, you know. What did he say? Can somebody read that? I can't see. Oh, plenty to read, how to read. Yeah. Yes, volunteer, somebody read. Can you read? Yes, please. Thank you. Give him a round of applause. Now let me teach you the art of clapping. Yes, plenty of time. Now this is not a clap. Now, clap is something that only human beings can do. Animals cannot do. So don't clap like a rabbit. Now, why? Because clap is a powerful communicator. It can raise emotions very high or it can drop emotions immediately. Okay? So I'm going to teach you how to clap. You want to learn? Yes. Your left hand must face the wall in front of you. Take your left hand. Someone who don't have left hand, what is it? And then take your right hand, it must face the sky. Okay? Now bring this and join it together. Join, just join with me. All of you join. Then close this and close this. Okay? Close your thumbs. Now expand like as if there is a big frog inside. Go on. Expand it. Make sure there's no hole, otherwise the frog will run away. Because the frog runs away, you can't produce any sound. So the bigger the frog, the better the sound. Go on. Expand. Then make sure that your elbows don't touch the chair. That's a secret. The elbow must not touch the chair. Then make sure that when you open your hands, these two hands do not go beyond your shoulders. If your shoulder is like that, don't put hand like that. Yeah. Just like that. Okay? Got it? Yeah. Now, a slow clap means fast clap means so when you graduate, make sure all your colleagues clap like that. Then your VC will stand up and say, oh my God, this is not transformed, you know. Okay. So, please sir, can you read?
We will see several nations evolving, people sharing an interest, exchanging information, and possibly arranging to meet with one another. On a global basis, providing the distant village dweller the opportunity to make contact with any person anywhere in the world.
Exactly. Ivlynn told you about the story in Selangor went to Johor, right? Today something happened in Gombak, huh? You can go as far as UK. Instantly. And when did he say this? 1999. Were you born that time? Yes. Oh. You're also old, huh? So this is what's happening. Alright? What's happening is there are more and more tribes within tribes exploding in the world. We are all becoming tribal. The dangerous thing is, today I belong to this tribe, tomorrow I'll belong to another tribe. And that's the danger. So, the demand to communicate consistently and frequently and with clarity, for that you have AI as your tool. You follow? Right. Men and women in the public relations profession, if you want to use AI effectively, you must remember there are two things that are very important. One is integrity and ethics. The other one is your character and conduct. If this is not in balance, then I'm afraid you will fail in your communicating efforts because people will not believe you. You follow? You cannot make a lie look like a truth. I won't read this. I want you to take time to go back in the next 1 month, try to read a little bit about Manuel Custer. Have you heard his name? If you haven't heard his name, very dangerous, you know. You must know. If you are in the PR profession, he is a very important guru for you, Manuel Custer. Okay? Right. So, in the public relations profession, what we are talking about, AI or no AI, you need content. Okay? The AI is only a tool for you to help you to get this content across and to bring in the content to you. Right? AI on its own cannot do anything for you. You have to learn how to master AI. And to do that, you need 4 things. Think, read, speak. And what's the common word for all the 4? WELL. Think well, read well, write well, speak well. You follow? Okay, I've given another definition. Now at the end of the day, believe me, what we are doing in our profession is we manage emotions. That's what we are doing. Okay? To make people laugh or to make people cry. To make people angry or make people agree with you. Emotions. Okay? That's why now you have got emotional intelligence and all that. Have you heard about that? All human beings at all times will exist in the red box. You and I are the same. If you say, no, I exist in purple box, something wrong. I have to send you to the doctors quickly. We all exist in the red box because it gives us a sense of security. False or otherwise, it gives us a sense of security. We tend to be hostile by nature. For example, if I am walking on the street, okay, what's your name? Amiza is walking on the other side. Accidentally, I knocked her elbows, and I walked off. Amiza will look at me like she wants to eat me up. Who that fellow will knock my head? And then I turn around, and then she sees me. Oh, Mr. JD! Oh, first is hostile, then she becomes very nice to me. You follow? The hostility is the territory that we build around us. It gives us security. You understand? I mean, you don't walk in the street. Isn't it? It's hostility. You know, you go to a new place. Because it protects us. We all have our prejudices. All the time. Okay? Why? Because prejudices help us to feel convinced about certain things. It's just a sense of security. But it's no good. Okay? We tend to be apathetic. Okay, I don't know. No, I guess I didn't know that. You know? We are ignorant. Nothing to do with me. Right? So this is how people are out there. And if you work for an organization, your task as a PR person is to constantly move them out of the red box into the green box so that there is some productive results. So that they become sympathetic, they accept your explanations, all right, they get interested in what you're doing, and they become more knowledgeable about your organization.
My name is Ahmad, and my question is basically to all the speakers here who have been educating us upon AI and considering it as a tool. However, we see that by the use of AI and its technological advancements in the current status quo, we do not need the number of staff which we needed before. Hence, unemployment rates are rising. So how can AI still secure jobs in the future when AI advancements are getting better and better?
Good afternoon, and my name is Anissa, and I would like to ask a question. Since the AI has been introduced in the working industry, but are we graduates? We doesn't we really well versed in the AI. So if you are mention about recruiting new graduates, and then if we really being accepted, how you will assist us in understanding the skills of using AI software?
People like us, it's very tedious for us to look at computers every day. We have tried it before. You have to have teams. There's no denying it. How we help is, if you are willing to learn, we are willing to teach. You must have that attitude. Correct attitude to learn. Don't give up. Alright? Speed is another thing. You need to learn how to read data fast. Because data is there already. You don't need to do human tasks. You just need to look sharp and identify. And all these skills, as what Mr. JD, if you have that flow, think, speak, write, and read. Start doing it now. Don't wait. Don't wait until you graduate, then you do it. Do it now. Alright? They have experienced a crisis recently. Tell them, I think I let them talk to you because they are in the same age, have the experience with working with a company. She was involved in a crisis recently. How did you feel? How did you feel?
So basically when you're in crisis, everything is very fast, everything is very hectic. It really requires your time, and you shouldn't have any reasons behind it. And when there's a need to do something, you have to react as fast as possible.
In crisis, they drop everything. Well, you got the eating away. Sorry, you're being activated. So you just drop everything. Right? You just have to do it. There's no two words about it, no two ways about it. So it's the attitude. If you're willing to learn, you want to experience. But I can tell you, when we manage to resolve that issue for the client, how did you feel? I think I just asked her because I can speak on behalf of the young ones.
I felt very great, and it was an exciting experience, and looking forward for more.
Because the client has just rewarded her and she's going to the Philippines. And that's the reward. When clients appreciate you or when your bosses appreciate you, they will appreciate you because they rely on you. You have a skill that we, my age, we don't have. We don't have the speed, we don't have the agility, we don't have that understanding of how social media works. I can come up with a strategy. I understand social media, but I cannot execute. We need people to execute, and you guys are the ones to execute. Just like how I had to execute when I started, and my bosses are the ones who think. Right? So we strategize, you execute. As simple as that. you will be, so long as you are willing to learn and act fast, react fast, because in crisis situation, I cannot have people arguing with me. There's loss of time there, right? Because you have to go through and study all the analysis, and then, we have to say, okay, this is it. And then once we push it up to the top management or even to the government, people, stakeholders, and say that, yes. And a lot of people ask me, how do I know whether I'm going to make the right decision or not? I never know. You never know until you see the result. It's a risk. If you are a risk player, but you must do a calculated risk. You don't take a risk blindfolded. You take a risk by looking at the AI, by looking at the data. You take a calculated risk. Alright, and then you monitor. And then when it goes up again, you got to do something else. And that's where decision making is very, very important. Decision making skill. You got to be firm in what you believe in by looking at that data. Anybody else?
Alright, let me add on a bit. Right, like I mentioned, I work for a small NGO. So we have a limited budget, not very limited, we have a limited budget, we have some money. So most of the time I find myself hiring fresh graduates. And most of the time I find I have to teach them quite a number of other skills that are not taught in universities. So for a small organization like mine, I'm okay to do it. I will share my knowledge, my experience. I will guide the way. I will tell you where to read, where to get more information, because I can't do the reading for you. You have to do it yourself. So I will teach that. But I encourage you all to actually start reading. For example, if you are on Twitter, it's the easiest. You just follow a few of the accounts that you think are very relevant, and you'll get all the feeds, and you have to read up. They'll usually post some articles, refer you to something else. Read up a lot on those. Of course, when you graduate, sometimes you don't have all the skills, but like I said, if you remember, I mentioned this now, the things that I look out for is attitude and aptitude. Attitude, yes. Attitude, the ability to learn and the willingness to learn. But if you just come to the interview and say that, and act like, oh, I know everything, I can do everything, then that's not the right person for my organization. Might be right for another organization, I don't know, but for me, I want somebody who's hungry to learn, because there's always, even I find myself, I don't know a lot of things. So I want people to actually work for me who are hungry, they want to know more, they want to learn more, they want to improve themselves. Ordinary is not good enough for me. I always want something else. If you achieve this level this year, next year I want you to do better. If not, why am I there for? I'm not helping you to develop yourself further, right? Okay.
Alright, thank you. Unfortunately, we have come to the end of the Q&A session.